Hey guys, this is ACairconditioner and welcome back for more Genshin Impact 2.6 event, Hues of the Violet Garden main story. Last time, we completed what the blue flowers left behind, and we actually learned more about the theft of the Legend of the Sword. And we learned that it was not really a theft, it was actually Xingqiu working with Onodera to kind of help practice Xingqiu's calligraphy, since Onodera proposed to him that he should do signatures when they start selling the books, which is a problem since Xingqiu calligraphy is not that good. As such, they had to transport the books into Onodera's own place so he could practice handwriting. But after knowing all that, the Yae Publishing House decided to help Xingqiu and actually also get some of the help from the Liyue calligraphers to help Xingqiu with the writing and the calligraphy. Albedo also was able to get inspiration from the story and was able to draw Awino Okina's portrait, which is Xingqiu. So we have two here now. And now, by the end of this story quest, we would have two more portraits unlocked. And I think I know who's one of them. We'll see what happens. Now, this is directly after my recording of the second part, so you can tell that you can tell I still need to be a Time Lord here and transport us into the future for a bit, if you know what I mean. So we're gonna move on here.
It's already time for us to be at the docks. Let's go! The arrival schedule says ship stopover, one person. Does that mean we're only welcoming one guest today?
So it's only one person. So the first time was Albedo, Klee, and technically Venti. Second time was Xingqiu, so only one person. They didn't specify which nation. It really could be anybody, and I'm not sure who. I originally guessed Klee. Oh, hello, Kazuha. I see you over there.
Look,
I want to say hello to you.
Oh, on the wharf. It looks like Kazuha.
Yes, that's right. It is Kazuha. I believe Kazuha's last appearance was in... I think it was just in a minor event. I think it was the... Was it 2.2, I believe? The 2.2 event where you get the instrument? It was that event. Kazuha has not made a major appearance in a long time. Xingqiu's... Oh, sorry. Also forgot like last time. Xingqiu's last appearance was in 2.4. During the Lantern Rite 2. Anyway, moving on. I started there.
Greetings, traveler in Paimon. I heard there would be guides for the Iridori Festival, but I didn't expect it would be you two.
Now, if you're wondering why Kazuha came through a boat despite being an Inazuma, he actually kind of chose to live in Liyue for a while. We actually got that proof thanks to the 2.2 event, which was that guitar thing, or zither, whatever it's called. And that's why he came from Liyue, I believe, back to Inazuma, which is really cool.
We didn't expect to see you either. Returning as a guest for the Iridori Festival, no doubt.
I was a little surprised myself when I received the invitation. But after wandering the outside world for so long, it's good to have an opportunity to return to my homeland and pay respects to my old friends.
Kazuha, when we saw you in the distance just now, you seemed to be looking for something. What happened?
Ah, yes. You see, when I came off the boat with everyone just now, I suddenly heard light footsteps around me.
Light
footsteps? I could tell they
footsteps?
were not footsteps of a regular passenger. But by the time I turned around, the person had already disappeared. I only heard a splash come from below the pier. Even though I didn't manage to catch a glimpse of them, I found this strange piece of paper by my feet.
And if you guys remember in the end of Act 2, we actually did hear small footsteps with a cat meowing. And there was someone there waiting. And I'm assuming that's the same person that left that same strange piece of paper.
Oh, does the paper happen to have a poem written on it?
Huh. How did you know?
Because we've been finding these pieces of papers all this time.
Fascinating. It's almost hard to believe such things could happen.
Kazuha, can you show us that piece of paper?
Sure. Here it is.
I'm
Please,
curious how they're
have
gonna
a
make
look.
lead this in. The Five Kasen Splendor, Akahito. Long have I been famed, and since my youth I had great ambition. I stamped every new verse with a scarlet seal, and thus I was known to all. But the last in one presented the verses, mine was found to be taken from a poet's past. For the theft and deception, I was banished into the wilderness. The five radiant lights never shall be again. Ah, how the tides do shift. So, Akahito is a famous person, a famous writer with great ambition, and he was known for the Scarlet Seal. Scarlet is known for red. And when he presented the verses, mine was found to be taken. So his was stolen from the poet's past. The five radiant lights shall never be again. That's interesting. I don't know what the five radiant lights could hint towards. I'm not sure. So his was stolen, and for that he was banished. So he was likely framed. But the poet's past is kind of interesting though, because I'm not sure exactly what that could mean. We'll see. I feel like this is Akahito's is pretty obvious to you guys. I actually hinted it last time, so we have this going for this flow. The clue that I know, the reason why I know about this is because I got now spoiled. But I do know, I kind of understand what they're going with here. Great ambition. You could kind of guess who this is.
Last time, Aoi no Okina's poem ended with a reference to Akahito.
Yep.
And sure enough, this is a story about him. The story this time basically says that Akahito got his name from his love of red seals. However, the shogun discovered that he had committed plagiarism, and he was soon exiled.
Poet's past is plagiarism. Okay, yeah.
Well, if Paimon were to rate today's story, it sounds pretty unfortunate.
Well, other stories weren't much better either.
I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with this story. I too was once wanted as a criminal by the shogunate, so I'm not all that different from Akahito mentioned in this story.
But according to the story, Akahito was exiled by the shogun because of his wrongdoings. You did nothing wrong, Kazuha.
Not exactly, Paimon. Not exactly.
Traveler, what are you thinking about?
The seal mentioned in the story. Maybe it can help Xingqiu.
Ah, by the way, you mentioned that your friend has been struggling because he's unable to sign his name quickly, right? In Liyue and Inazuma, there is a saying, that which has been stamped has also been signed. Perhaps using a seal could be a feasible solution.
That's
While
true.
sailing at sea, I sometimes carve things to pass the time. If you wish to create a stamp for his seal, I might be able to help.
Wow, that's an idea! Quick, let's go tell Albedo!
A new painting in pale scarlet. Okay, so we have Akahito here. Now, I believe if you look back, dedicated to Akahito with my great soul was banished. So, and if we know that Aoi is based off of Xingqiu, then you could kind of guess who Akahito. Okay, wait, it's Akahito here and it's Akahito here. So there's actually a clear misspelling going on here. Or is Akahito someone different? No, in the Paimon you mentioned this was based off Akahito. So yeah, this is actually an error right here. But he was close with Akahito, which is why to his great sorrow Akahito was banished. Mine was found to be taken from a poet's past. A poet's past writing, he committed plagiarism. Plagiarism is basically stealing someone's knowledge or like stealing someone's writing and information and not crediting them properly, or just blatantly just taking them and like literally a copy and paste job. And Akahito's verse was actually taken from another poet, someone in the past, and that's why he was banished. It's plagiarism, basically. Okay, I understand. I read that wrong. I apologize. Also, I feel like you guys can guess who the third costume is gonna be based off of. Also, I just realized it follows a certain pattern for all of them. So far, it's 3-4-3 for me right now. Yo, Albedo.
Albedo, we figured out a way to help Xingqiu.
Interesting. A story of the Five Kasen appears again, and with a timely solution. A stamped seal, huh? Let me think. Indeed, it is an efficient solution. If we use a stamp, then Xingqiu won't have to struggle with his handwriting anymore. However...
But there's a problem though, because didn't Xingqiu already start with the calligraphy for like 1/10 of its total work?
Since Xingqiu's signature has been previously revealed to the readers, it would seem insincere if he only used the stamped seal for his new books.
It'll be an awkward switch.
I have another idea. Using a seal is a part of it, of course. Let's go to Uya restaurant now to discuss my idea with everyone.
Uya restaurant again? That's like the second time in a row? Really? Really? I heard about your Anahitian blessing, and I know the Anahitian or Anahita is hinting towards Kusanali's identity. I get it. Leave me alone. Moving on. So we're going to Uya restaurant again. We're always coming back here. Why are we always coming back here? I understand. I don't understand. Why are we coming back here? How much you want to bet that the twist? Oh wait, yeah, she actually has a reservation here. How much you want to bet the fifth cost is gonna be based off of Albedo? I'm calling them right now. Oh my lord!
Yes, that's it, Genshin. Your writing has greatly improved today, which means yesterday's intensive training was effective.
My apologies, but I simply can't do it anymore. My hands are so sore that I can't even move them anymore. I should have known better than to read novels during calligraphy class.
You just had a 10-minute break. Come on, you can do this.
Hirayama, stop pushing him.
When it comes to pushing a deadline, there's no one more brutal than Mr. Hirayama.
No wonder Lady Yae would always send the editorial director to handle troublesome authors.
Whoa, this is getting scary. It hasn't even been that long and Xingqiu's already zombified.
Mr. Hirayama, we found a solution that might just solve our dilemma. In both Liyue and Inazuma, seals are widely used as the equivalents of a signature. If we use a stamp to leave the author's seal on the books, then we could make the signature process a lot easier. Of course, a seal on its own is not enough. So, I propose that each signature consists of 2 parts. First, we'll use a personalized seal. We can simply carve one using Xingqiu's signature as the design. In addition, I'll also design a simple but elegant pattern that's easy for Xingqiu to write. That way, he will only need to draw a simple pattern on each book.
Let me think.
Oh.
Alright, I think that would work. Not only does it still involve the author's own handwriting, but the result should be very beautiful as well.
So, what you mean to say is, I've been saved from this predicament?
Xingqiu looks
Mr.
so
Hirayama,
excited.
It suddenly occurred to me that the reason we gave up on live book signings previously was because it would take too long for the author to sign each book.
Yeah, it's gonna be tiring.
But if we adopted Calx's proposed method, we might have enough time to do signatures at the live event. And if all the authors signed their books in the same fashion, then Genyu's signature wouldn't look out of place.
If you think it's feasible, I would certainly be happy to design signatures for the other authors as well.
Yes, and you may leave carving the stamps to me.
In that case, I shall contact the other 2 authors participating in the new release event.
That's cool.
It is a great honor to use a signature designed by Calx.
My pen name is quite complicated and isn't suitable for signing events. However, if we implement this new format, then it'll be a dream come true for me as well.
Great! Looks like everyone's on board with the idea.
Albedo's big
I'm
brain.
sorry to have kept you busy for so long, Genshin. Please, take the next few days to have a good rest. We'll handle everything from here. The books that Genshin already signed can be used as special prizes in future events held by the Publishing House.
We did it. The event is saved.
Thanks to everyone's efforts,
I'm
Onodera
hoping you
and
guys
I
didn't
are
hear that.
finally free of that mess.
That's right! You're finally free, Xingqiu! Maybe you should step outside for some fresh air!
I feel called out. Anyway, I'm hoping you guys can hear my cough. My throat was kind of getting sore from that. Dude, doing two separate recordings was not a good idea. But whatever. Moving on.
We still have some time to burn. Where should we go next?
Where should we go next? I got invented.
Traveler,
Oh!
there you are.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Oh, it's Ayaka! And Venti! That's an interesting combo.
Paimon, what are you
I
doing?
was just going to the festival venue to prepare the Ikebana lesson when I found a strange piece of paper on a flower stand. This bard just happened to be close by at the time.
Wait, Ayaka.
He informed me that you've also found similar papers recently. As such, we came together to find you two. But the paper she found isn't quite the same as the ones we found before.
Why?
Here's the paper. Please have a look.
Okay. That's it? Sumizome is the fourth one, and that's the last of the four, but we still have the one missing. I submerged the verse into clear water and the truth did emerge. That's really... I feel like they just gave a solution to everything. If you submerge the verse into clear water, the truth did emerge. What do you mean by that? Do you mean you just literally just put them underwater and then you see a secret verse somewhere? Is that how it's going on? Is that how it works? Why clear water though? Because there's gotta be some sort of symbolism with the clear water, right? Or is it just literally just that?
Huh. All the poems we found before were roughly the same length. But this one is only 2 lines.
And even though there are only 2 short sentences, neither of them are next to the title or centered on the page. The position of the writing seems to indicate that there is other content written on this paper besides these 2 lines.
Submerge the paper
If we
down.
take the poem literally, it reads, "Dip this paper in water and see the truth naturally appear."
Yeah.
Speaking of
Basically.
which, I have an ancient text at home, specializing in ancient and exotic stories.
Oh, well, isn't
it
that
mentions
convenient?
A special ink that will show itself when
What
wet
is it, visible
and
ink?
disappear when it's dry.
So, shall we give it a whirl? It just so happens that there's a pond nearby.
Sure, let's go check it out.
Is there anything in the world that will satisfy my taste buds?
So Sumizome is the fourth one. I like how it's actually just one line. That's kind of hilarious. I'm gonna actually go back to this one. Hold on. Kuronishi is the final one. Was a shrine maiden skilled in fluorescent dancing. Are you kidding me? Okay, at this point, I'm just convinced by now. All right, I'm screw it. I'm gonna say it right here. The third one is based off of Kazuha. If you guys cannot tell, I knew that because I saw an image of Venti, Xingqiu, and Kazuha as drawings as a thumbnail because someone uploaded immediately, and I knew that I knew exactly which account that was on YouTube because that person is also on an Asian account. And the Asian account usually has a high chance of uploading stuff early on, day in advance, because Asia gets their stuff 1 day in advance of us. So, lo and behold, I got spoiled on that. I do not know who the other 2 is, but I am I'm guessing that the fourth drawing is gonna be based off of Ayaka. Ayaka, though, it's been a long time since we last saw her, and actually really didn't miss her for a while because we haven't saw her since like what, the freaking 2.1 Archon quest, because we never had an Inazuma, a proper Inazuma event. Yes, I am also gonna point out 2.2 is not an Inazuma event proper, and it sucks. But if you go ignoring my kind of angry rant, Ayaka's last appearance was in 2.1. during the Archon quest, and I really didn't miss her because you know you know how much I like Ayaka. I even built her. You guys saw me use her by accident, but you know how much I like Ayaka. So it's always a pleasure seeing her again, honestly. So let's go just check this out. Of course, Ayaka will be the fourth one.
Wow, look! It's really working! More words have appeared on the paper!
Okay.
Let Paimon see what it says.
Going over this poetry, I found that someone plagiarized. I found a plagiarized piece did not have his scarlet seal. Well, I guessed this by complete accident. It was a frame. The plagiarized piece did not have his scarlet seal. Someone else plagiarized. Someone plagiarized, and he used a fake version of Akahito's scarlet seal, so he was framed. I submerged the verses in clear water, and the truth didn't emerge. The truth verses were not washed away, but the text of the despicable crime faded. I only know Okina passed me by. Just as I was writing a verse for Akahito. One storm has yet to settle. It was really time to write the new poems. Sumizome knows exactly what happened with Akahito's accident. They were actually connected in a way. That's why we have two portraits coming up right here. The despicable crime faded. So there's another crime that's involving Akahito in a way. And whoever plagiarized them. And whoever did the plagiarization and framed them for it. And I think that's the fifth Kasen. Because we almost know nothing about the fifth Kasen. So it only makes sense.
The story says that after Sumizome got the collection of poems from Akahito and put them into a stream
You're gonna get more
of water,
context from this.
the plagiarized words in the poem became blurry. Huh? Why would that happen?
It was added on.
You see, Paimon, in the past, when printing was not yet well developed, handwritten text could easily become smudged in books when exposed to moisture.
It was handwritten, not properly printed. So someone wrote those additional plagiarized words on advance and framed them by doing that.
To ensure the text lasted longer, they'd either write using a special ink or coat the paper's surface with a waterproof coating once the writing was finished. Such special inks are time-consuming and laborious to produce, and the waterproof coating could also prove just as difficult.
To rush, they had to do
However,
this.
since Akihito's poetry collection was an important gift to be presented to the shogun, surely one of those two methods was used to protect it. But as for the plagiarized poems, not only would they
Who's
lack
asking me to join my
Akihito's
world?
seal,
No.
but the words would also react differently when exposed to liquid.
So this poem wasn't written by Akahito. It was added later by someone else.
Which means Akahito didn't plagiarize
He
his
was
work.
set up.
He was set up!
Yes, it appears that this is the truth that Sumizome's story is trying to convey.
I like how it's linked again.
Although the story is saddening, I've decided on the subjects to use for Akihito and Sumizome's portraits. Kazuha, Ayaka.
I
would you be
knew
willing to
it.
be the models for my paintings?
I would be delighted.
Yes, as would
I mean, I knew Kazuha was one.
There you go. The next two portraits should be ready in no time.
So now here's the reason why I had to just outright just say that the third person is based off of Kazuha. Here's the reason why. If you guys see patterns going on here, every single portrait of the character. Okay, I'm sorry. Every single character that was portrayed for each of the 5 Kasen, their respective clues was found by a specific character. Let me give you an example in a way this is better for you guys to understand, because my explanation is horrible. Venti originally found the first hit and hid it, and he actually showed it to us after everything was kind of resolved regarding him. And that person was about Suiko. Venti's model was designed for Suiko. Xingqiu, the second hit was under Xingqiu, or under was on the box that Xingqiu was literally sitting on the poem. And the second one was drawn by Xingqiu. It was drawn based off of Xingqiu. Kazuha found the third one after he heard something suspicious, and the third person is about Kazuha. Ayaka found the fourth one, so the fourth person would be based off of Ayaka as well. This is really funny though, I'm not gonna lie. The person who keeps finding these portraits, who finds these hints, is the person that's getting drawn to represent the Five Kasen. Venti, Xingqiu, Kazuha, and Ayaka. Now, the fifth one we have no clue about. I think I know who it's gonna be, though.
Yes. And now that all 4 stories have all been collected, the story of the Five Kasen is now fully completed.
Not exactly.
Long ago, Inazuma had 5 legendary poets.
Why is Miko?
People bestowed upon them the title of the Five Kasen.
Why is it Miko?
One year, the poet Suiko made his way to Tenshukaku and presented the Kasen's work for the shogun's perusal. But a page from the works of Aoi no Okina had been torn out, and Suiko was questioned regarding the matter. Suiko pleaded guilty. He admitted to drinking at the tavern the night before, and vaguely recalled a mysterious figure approaching while he was intoxicated.
And that was Xingqiu.
That figure was none other than Aoi no Okina
Oh, this
himself.
is cool.
This turn of events had begun with an unnamed individual, under whose coercion Aoi no Okina was forced to take drastic measures to retrieve a page of
that
poetry.
person's still a mystery.
He knew nothing of this individual's true intentions. All he knew was that the poem had to do with an old acquaintance, Akahito.
Oh.
Akahito had once belonged to the Five Kasen. Each poem he composed, he marked with a scarlet red seal, hence the Aka in his name.
Aka means red.
Such a distinguished writer was he, and yet one of the poems he had submitted the previous year was found to be plagiarized. Akahito was exiled for his crimes,
but he was framed.
And only 4 of the Five Kasen remained.
Sumizome went over Akihito's poems
this is really cool.
and noticed that the plagiarized poem lacked his seal. She immersed his poetry in a stream nearby, and only on the plagiarized poem did the ink run. Aoi no Okina passed by and witnessed Sumizome's doing, which he then recorded in a poem.
In a poem, you say?
Thus transpired the events of Suiko's poetry submission, and this is where the story comes to an end.
Oh, this is really, really awesome. Oh, this is really, really cool. I'm not gonna lie. Yep, there's Ayaka and Kazuha. Paimon, what's wrong?
Yeah. Ever since we completed the story of the Five Kasen, there's still one thing Paimon hasn't been able to figure out.
The mysterious person. Also, Miko was the one that first narrated the first part of it, which makes sense because I think she was the one that was hosting the Irodori Festival in the first place.
One of the Five Kasen is called Kuronishi, right?
Yes. And he's missing.
It's just that, how could the story of the Five Kasen finish without him appearing at all?
Oh, have you really not noticed?
Huh? Not noticed what?
Is Kuronishi the mysterious person, Venti? What's going on?
What he means is that the story of Kuronishi was already embedded within the 4 poems.
Huh? Really?
That's right. The key lies in the poem that Aoi no Okina wrote after seeing Sumizome rinsing the poetry collection. An average person could never understand the scene of a young girl washing Akahito's poetry collection in a stream.
Kazu's just right there. That's funny.
Even Aoi no Okina couldn't figure out the meaning behind Sumizome's actions. He was simply reminiscing and thinking about his old acquaintances. However, for the perpetrator who framed Akahito, it was completely obvious. He was worried that if this poem was seen by the Shogun, then the Shogun could discover the truth behind the plagiarism incident. If that happened, then he'd be finished. So, in desperation, he threatened Aoi no Okina to make him tear out this poem.
Yep.
Which means the one who threatened Aoi no
Okina is the same person that framed Akahito. So it's kind of a bit wrong on the mysterious. I mean, I feel like the mysterious person would have been the 5th Kasen anyway. I kind of point that out. But in this specific case, though, when you kind of like try to connect the dots between this, the mysterious person is a reference to Onodera. But Onodera never had bad intentions at all. Kuronishi had bad intentions. And maybe that's what he was portrayed with the color black. The color of darkness in a way. And not just that, but black was always shown to be the more evil color in the world, and the entire lore of Tivat. The Abyss Order themselves, like the Abyss Herald, were pretty much always portrayed with the color black. Dainslev being a member of the previous member of the Abyss is a complete contrast to Paimon, which is always portrayed in white in a way. And if you actually take this story and kind of portray it into the way of the traveler siblings, Either's also portrayed in black and white, mainly black, while Lumine is always portrayed in white. If we look at Celestia being evil in the first place, and Conria being good, and actually spin in reverse, Lumine's main goal is to revive the nation of Conria, and to her, that is good. To her, we are the bad guys in a way. Despite us being the protagonist, so we have that to consider as well. Black and white is basically the true theme of this. Is basically another true theme, and we actually get this. We can actually kind of use this connection to kind of figure out what exactly is going on with the entire world of Tivat. Maybe this is a bit of a stretch, but I think this is what's going on. And honestly, I think this is really creative in a way, and very subtle foreshadowing for what's gonna happen in the near future. I know that I kind of went on a tangent here, but this is really cool, and I think it also explains why Kuronishi is portrayed with the color black, and why the last part of the story quest, which is gonna unlock Kuronishi's portrait, I believe has the word black in the name as well, which is really interesting. So I am really curious on how this is gonna end, and how we're gonna get introduced to Kuronishi in a way, and who's gonna be a representation of Kuronishi, because I have no clue who it is. The culprit is none other than Kuronishi himself.
What? Kuronishi?
Yep. Kuronishi was omnipresent, that's why.
That's right. Though there are only 4 poems, they still managed to tell the complete story of all 5 Kasen.
Basically, Kuronishi is the omnipresent Kasen among the 4 poems.
Since the shogun mentioned in the poems is certainly not the one of the 5 Kasen, the only character left is the mysterious one with an unknown identity.
Venti's big braining this.
Oh, okay. Paimon is finally starting to get it now.
However, this also brings something else to mind. The story of the 5 Kasen has more or less reflected everything that's been happening around us lately. Which begs the question...
Is there a Kuronishi in our world as well?
In our world as well?
A Kuronishi? In our world?
The mastermind? The one that's been planting all this?
Which, I wonder if our dear Kazuha has come up with anything.
He's just staring at that blank portrait the entire time.
Kazuha! He's been pretty quiet this whole time. Let's ask him.
Why are we walking to talk to Kazuha? Okay. No.
Hey, Kazuha. Are you okay? You've been standing in front of this blank canvas for a while, and you don't look so good.
Apologies for making a wild assumption, but has the story of the 5 Kasen reminded you of anything?
Yes. A few things did come to mind, actually. However, they were nothing more than some past incidents regarding my family. I don't mind sharing the stories, but I'd prefer not to bring you any more trouble.
Kazuha?
Hey, we're all friends here, Kazuha. You can always tell us whatever's on your mind.
Kaedehara, please forgive my assumption, but perhaps you were thinking of the Raiden Gokuden?
The Raiden Gokuden? What's that?
It appears that Miss Kamisato and I were thinking of the same thing. But it also has much to do with the Yashiro Commission. It would be improper to speak of it here without the consent of Miss Kamisato.
You're right in
It's
Gokuden.
fine. Those of us here are all trustworthy, so there isn't any harm in it.
Wow, you trust them that fast?
This matter is somewhat complicated and may be difficult to explain. Let me start with the Raiden Gokuden.
Please.
As you all know, The Yashiro Commission's primary purpose is managing ceremonial and cultural affairs, and Inazuma's art of forging swords is a very important part of our culture. The Raiden Gokuden were once the top 5 schools of the forging art in Inazuma. Although these families were swordsmiths by craft, they also held many important positions in the Yashiro Commission.
Oh, is Kazuha part of the family?
Unfortunately, of the 5, only the Amenoma art still maintains its artisan lineage.
The Amenoma
Ishin art
Kageuchi.
are also still alive, but the craft has been lost to time.
This is really interesting because I recognize both of these names, and you guys should as well if you actually pay attention to the story. The Amenoma is actually stated with one of the weapons, the Amenoma Kageuchi. And the Amenoma Kageuchi actually is one of the 5. Is actually one of the. Sorry for stuttering. It's one of the 5 forgeable weapons in Inazuma. Remember, each nation has their own set of 5 weapons you can forge: the sword, the claymore, the polearm, the sword, the claymore, the polearm, the bow, and the catalyst. Mazda had his 5 as well with the prototype set, and the Liyue has his own set as well: the white blind, the crescent pike, those weapons. Inazuma has them as well. The Amenoma Kageuchi is the broadsword of that type, is the katana. It is also portrayed as Ayaka's signature weapon, which is really interesting as well. Now, the Ishin art may sound familiar to you guys. The word Ishin is actually shown to be part of A's sword, Musou Ishin. That is the sword that Raiden Makoto has passed down to Raiden A after Makoto's passing of this world in Conria. Now, both of them are swords. Musou Ishin is not a usable weapon at all. It's only usable by using A's ultimate skill. Amenoma Kageuchi is one of the 5 forgeable weapons of this game, alongside the Hakushin ring, the Katane cross spear, and I don't know, the Hamayumi, which is the bow. Those weapons. So it's kind of interesting how both arts are both two arts of the 5 kind of falls back to the actually art of sword crafting, because they're both katanas. So I kind of find this really interesting and fascinating in my opinion, because this actually kind of falls back to some of the lore that was hidden within Genshin Impact that you would not know normally. Really, really cool.
The descendants of the Ishin art are none other than the Kaedehara family.
What?
Whoa! We knew Kazuha came from a noble family, but we had no idea about his connection to the Yashiro Commission and sword making.
Yes, but that's all part of the past now. The Ishin art was lost with my great-grandfather's generation. My grandfather was dissatisfied with my great-grandfather's lack of effort. When he was young, my grandfather traveled all over Tevat to find a way to revive the family business. But it was to no avail. And in my generation, our last remaining family property was lost as well.
What?
I heard my elder brother mention that the decline of the Raiden Gokuden happened very rapidly. In the span of a few decades, 3 of the families suffered various misfortunes and disappeared completely.
We might actually know the 5.
There was speculation that all of these misfortunes stemmed from some background machinations, meaning that someone wanted to wipe out the Raiden Gokuden. However, since not every family of the Raiden Gokuden came to ruin, such explanations were treated as nothing more than a conspiracy theory.
Indeed. I've also believed such ideas were just theories and rumors. However, I know that a major incident happened to my great-grandfather when he was young. Not only did it affect the Kaedehara clan, but it nearly jeopardized the Kamisato clan's position in the Yashiro Commission.
Is it related to Ayaka's and Naito's father?
After reading the story of the 5 Kasen, I can't help but feel like it's pointing me toward the truth behind that incident.
What exactly happened to your great-grandfather, Kazuha?
I still can't say. I need to speak with someone to verify the details.
Oh god, it's going to the final part.
Let's meet here again at noon tomorrow.
Are you serious?
I will tell you everything I know then.
I hate you! Yep, we got Clash of the Lone Blades. Oh, so that's where Clash of the Lone Blades is with... Oh, okay, that's really hilarious. Okay. Because Kazuha is a samurai. The floral courtyard is a florist. I think that's a reference to Ayaka like flowers, I guess. I'm not too sure. The palace dyed in black. Yes, that one. The palace to Shikaku. Dyed in black is the conspiracy going on. And I have to wait. I hate you! I'm sad. Okay. So we have that going on. This is really interesting. One day. And by one day you mean 2 days. So the last painting. I have my few suspicions on who the last painting could be based off of. Again, this is completely blind. I have no idea who it is. My first guess was Albedo. Albedo has been involved in all of this so far. And not just that, but he was the one that kind of pieced all the story together. But now is more or less likely because I think Kuronishi could be a reference to what Kaedehara said. Someone who caused the downfall of Raiden and Gokuden. My second guess, now with that knowledge, I think could be Ayato. Kuronishi could be maybe he wasn't a bad person by intention maybe, but he was kind of thrust upon what happened what happened. And Ayato was kind of thrust onto the responsibility because of what his father did and the corruption of the Yashiro Commission back then, I believe. If that makes any sense to you guys. My third guess is actually Yaemiko. Because Yaemiko's been omnipresent in this entire time, just like how Kuronishi was omnipresent in this entire story. So maybe she could be based off as the model for the final portrait, maybe? It could be Yaemiko, it could be Ayato, it could be Albedo. It can also be A, but I doubt it's A because I don't know if she's willing to become a portrait for Albedo's drawings, maybe. But those are my 3 guesses, leading into the last part of the story quest, pretty much the ending. And of course you're gonna have a nice little cinematic as well, unless that was the only cinematic. In that case, that'd be kind of sad, but it looks cool. Well, yeah, those are my final 3 guesses right here: Albedo, Ayato, and Yaemiko. But it's nice to, but this quest in general was actually really cool. It's good to see Kazuha again. It's good to see Ayaka again. You know how much I love Ayaka, and I think the way they kind of linked the way they link all 4 of the story, the main parts, and they did not just show Ayaka's and Ayato's and Kazuha's part, but they actually start from the beginning with the story of the 5 Kasen. And they started with Suiko's, Aoi no Okina's, then moved to Akahitos, then moved into Sumizome's, and kind of left the omnipresent being, and kind of left that one omnipresent being that remained omnipresent and mysterious to the variant. I think that's a really cool idea, and I actually really do like the cinematic. It's actually really creative. The foretelling of a story of the past that's kind of linking with what's happening right now in the present is always a good one. I mean, honestly, you guys need to watch. If you guys want any reason why that's always a good idea, in my opinion, go watch the Divine National Devastation. That will prove my point. But so far, it's a really cool story quest, and I'm actually kind of fascinated by how they're linking past events, likely fictional, with present events and actual historical events in Teyvat. So I'm looking forward to how this ends, and I kind of hype for it. It's a really creative process. But that's it for me for now. I have a sore throat. I need to go get a glass of water anyway. So next time I will see you guys with the final part of this story quest. The palace dyed in black. ACairconditioner signing out. Have a good one, guys.